Hi, I'm David Hankins,
And I'm Paul Hankins.
and we're two of the co-creators of everyone's favorite comic book, Power Squared. Um, this week, we want to talk about what's going on with the comic book, like we try to do every week. This past Monday, Paul and I submitted issues 6 and 7 to Comixology, and they've accepted those, which, again, I don't know what the high bar of acceptance is, but it is a little hurdle to get over, and that will be out hopefully soon. We'll of course let you know. I don't have any idea what the date is at this point, but we will let people know when we do know. We're continuing work on 9. We got the last 4 pages and the cover from Nina, our colorist, and we send those on to Trevor, so that's wrapping up. And 10, we got the first 8 pages of pencils from Rachel. So it's still going. So hopefully you will feel like you want to jump in someplace and buy some of these issues available in Comixology. This week we were going to talk a little bit about sort of the issues that we have out. And we'll, of course, start with number 1, which was sort of in the works for, I think, quite a while.
Yeah.
We had this original idea, and it took, I think we've maybe talked about this before, it took a while to find the right, to find a artist and a colorist, and to kind of get that going forward. So basically the first issue is kind of introduces you to Marty and Eli, introduces you to kind of all the main characters.
Yeah.
You've got, their friends. You've got Jennifer, who they meet for the first time, Instructor Miller, and Dr. Atlas. And actually, one of the things I thought was kind of nice is that we planted a couple of the villains in the first issue, which you don't see until future issues, including the 6 and 7 that we just are trying to get released now. So, and then basically they realize they have powers, but we don't know yet how they got them.
Right.
But we do know that somebody wants to be able to take the Verbus compound out of their blood and weaponize it for their own purposes. So anyway, that's kind of the first issue. It took a long time to get the first one done, and then we had to have it recolored before it got published. So it was kind of a long process to get the first one and the first two done, because those are the ones we had written. I know we came up with this idea and kind of wrote down. We even did little thumbnails.
Yeah.
And which are different than, I guess, the final. Some of them are similar, but a lot of them are different than the final book. And so we're trying to, it was just a long process to get it finally done. It was really nice to kind of get that over with and get the second issue over with, which we'll talk about next week. So this week was the Academy Award nominations, and there were a couple of comic book films that were called out in those awards. There were some, Avengers Infinity Wars got like some sort of technical nomination, but the big ones were Black Panther,
Which got nominated for like 7 or 8 awards,
including Best Picture, the first of the superhero movies to be nominated for that. And there was also Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which got nominated for Best Animated Film. Or animated feature.
Animated feature.
Right, it's the technical term. So of those, I think we like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse the best of those two.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse, I think, is probably the most deserving of the animation category, because from what I remember of the nominees, Incredibles 2 was good, but it didn't quite capture the same magic as the first one.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. And Ralph Breaks the Internet also wasn't bad, but it wasn't like a great
Wasn't as good as the first one.
Yeah, it wasn't that great a follow up. But Spider-Verse was like, it was really unique, both in storytelling, like how it handled Spider-Man, and also the animation. It was like phenomenal.
It was interesting how they kind of mixed all these different animation styles to fit in with the comic book styles of the various Spider-Mans they brought into.
Yeah, it had this unique comic book kind of urban
feel
to it, which was a good nice change of pace from the kind of animation you see in 3D movies nowadays.
And we had actually seen 4 of the 5 nominated animated films. I forgot what the 4th one was, but we do. Of those, we like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse the best, which I'm sure.
So I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. As far as Black Panther being nominated for Best Picture, I don't think it was the best of the Marvel movies. I mean, it's nice that they're finally
acknowledging the superhero genre.
Yeah, but it's kind of, to me, it's a little bit like the third Lord of the Rings got nominated for best, and I guess won Best Picture.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the best of that trilogy.
No.
This, I mean, it's a solid movie. It's not the best of the Marvel films. I don't know if it's the best Marvel film out this year, because I really liked Infinity Wars better.
Yeah, Infinity War was really good.
But it's nice to see one nominated. I don't think it's going to win Best Picture. I'd be really surprised. I know that they were trying to do the most popular award, which kind of bugged me. The Academy would actually consider that.
Thankfully, they got rid of that.
Yeah, but that was just to make sure that it got an award.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of it would be nice to see one win. I think we probably would have preferred Logan to have won an award when it was up for, was it best adapted screenplay?
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the best it could. Do. I don't think it even won that.
No, it didn't. So, so I mean, just it's out there, and we haven't honestly seen that many of the best picture nominations.
Yeah,
sad to say. Hopefully, we'll try to correct some of that before the awards come out. But yeah, so that's kind of how we see it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess anything else we should talk about? I realized last week when we were talking about villains, we were both stumped about who Brubaker was based on.
Yeah.
And it was
Hugo Strange from Batman.
So we do have, just to correct that, I'm sure people were wondering, how do they not know what their characters are based on? But some of these have been, honestly, we came up with these like 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And we've been working on issues since, so sometimes we kind of forget. I found that in just in writing in general, it's like, what was so-and-so's name? I gave them like 2 books ago. What was their name? So it happens.
Like Hugo Strange is an interesting character to base Brubaker off of, because he's intelligent, but he's also he also has obviously worked out,
right?
So he can get into a fist fight, and he actually knows Batman's secret identity. Like he figured it out on his own.
Not in this book, but yes, Hugo Strange. And Brubaker we kind of made kind of beefy. Yeah. Smart but beefy, so kind of that was where that came from. So I just wanted to like go on record that we do know where he came from. It just wasn't, who's this guy? All right. We'd like to encourage you to keep to watch these videos and to support us on social media. You can find all those in the comments or the description
down below.
Yeah, if you want to leave a comment, that'd be awesome.
Make sure to like and subscribe, or hit the notification bell if you want to know when these go up, and also share. Any of those actions will help our channel grow.
Right. So until next week, I'm David Hankins.
And I'm Paul Hankins.
And this has been a week in Power Squared.